according to the. Okay, so this is going to be a little introduction to Talmud, mainly for the Mishnah. This is Masechet Brachot, the first Masechet, the first tractate in Shas, in the Talmud, in both the Bavli and the Yerushalmi, and it starts like this. This is Me'ematai. This is the first word. Me'ematai korin et Shema ba'arvin. What does this mean? From when is the Shema read in the evening? So one thing interesting I'd like to point out here is that the Talmud starts off with asking a question, which this really is, it tells you right at the beginning what kind of learning, what kind of Torah is this? This is Torah where we ask questions. You know, most law books in the Shulchan Aruch itself does not ask questions. The Torah itself doesn't really ask questions, but the Talmud, it's asked questions. The very first word is asking a question. So it's from when, it's from what point in time do we read the Shema in the evening? Another thing you can notice from this is that it's starting off in the middle. How do we know that you about the mitzvah of saying Shema? Where do you even know about this? That here we're asking from when do you start to say it in the evening? From when does the obligation start? So it's also that the Talmud is really like starting in the middle of things. And there seems to be an assumption that you kind of know everything else, and we're in the middle of a discussion. So that's the first question. From what time does the Shema, is there obligation to say it in the evening? So what's the answer? Misha'ah she'hakohanim nichnasim le'echol b'trumatan. From the time when the Kohanim enter to eat their truma. Truma is the holy food that is separated from agricultural produce. The Kohen has to be tahor. In order to be tahor, if he had been, tahor means that he is clean, he doesn't have any ritual impurity. And if he did have a ritual impurity, that he had to go to the mikveh during the day and then wait until the evening, which is until 3 stars, until he can eat truma. And the Gemara will ask, well, why didn't it just tell us what time is Shema? Why did they have to tell us in terms of something else? So we see another thing that the Talmud wants to teach us additional lessons for what we're learning here. When is this time when they come in to eat truma? That's when 3 stars appear. Okay, so that's the beginning time when you have to say Shema in the evening. And then what's the end time? Until what time do you have? So here we're going to see 3 different opinions here. The first one is ad sof ha'ashmua harishona, until the end of the first watch. That's divrei Rabbi Eliezer. So that's the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, that it's till the end of the first watch. In the Gemara, there's going to be a discussion of how long is this first watch? Are there 3 watches in the night or 4 watches in the night? Meaning, are we talking about 4 hours into the night? That's if it's a third of the night, or is it 3 hours into the night if it's a quarter of the night? The conclusion is it's 4 hours into the night. That's view number 1. The Chachamim Omrim, and then we have the Chachamim, which doesn't tell us who they are, but this means that this is considered the majority view. It says ad chatzot. They have until midnight. Okay, they're giving you more time at night. Rabban Gamliel Omer ad sheyala amud hashachar. So the third opinion is Rabban Gamliel, and he said you have until the morning pillar, the first morning light starts, which is generally considered between somewhat either 90 minutes or 72 minutes before actual sunrise. So those are the 3 opinions here of when's the end time of Kriyat Shema. And now we have something a little bit unusual for a Mishnah, that we have a story. What's this story? This is a story which will have a halachic question on it. It says Maaseh, we have Maaseh. It means this is a story that actually happened. Uvo Banov mi Beit Mishna. This is continuing with Rabbi Gamaliel, that his sons came back from the Beit Mishna. Beit Mishna is, the house of drinking. Well, it's considered to be like a wedding. They were at a wedding feast. They Amru lo korinu at Shema. They say they came back from the wedding and say, "Whoa, Dad, we didn't say Shema yet. We're so busy at the wedding." Amalahem im lo ala amud shachar chayvim atem likrod. So he said, if the amud shachar, which is Rabbi Gamaliel's position, that you still have until amud shachar. We'll see that the Gemara asks, well, why? What exactly is this discussion here between his sons and Rabbi Gamaliel? Because we know what his position is, and they would have known what his position is. So the Gemara is going to discuss that later on. That they're going to ask, well, but you hold it's until Amud Shachar, the first light, but the majority opinion, which is the Chachamim, which is until midnight. So he says, no, you can rely on my opinion in your case that you still have until Amud Shachar. And further, it says, Velo zu bilvad. And not only this, Amrun, that they said, it says, Ela kol ma she'amru chachamim ad chatzot. Any halacha, they said, you have to finish it by midnight. Mitzvatan ad sheyala amud shachar. You still have a mitzvah to do it. You can, until amud shachar, until the first morning light. And now it's giving some examples. Hekter chalavim ve'evarim mitzvah san ad sheyala amud shachar. This is talking about burning the certain parts of the sacrificial animals on the altar in the temple. That it's the mitzvah is until amud shachar. It says v'kol hanechalin liyom echad, and anything which is eaten one day. There's certain of the sacrifices which are eaten for one day and one night, and the Mishna says is until midnight. You eat a day and night until midnight, like a carbon toda. You have that day to eat it, and that night until midnight. But he says, if you didn't, mitzvatan ad sheyala amud shachar. There's a mitzvah to eat it until first light. It says im kain lama amru chachamim ad chatzot. Well, if that's the case, that anyway that you could. If you if you haven't done it until midnight, you can do it until Amud Shachar. Then what is why the Chachamim saying until midnight? So he answers Kedei laharchik adam min ha'avera, is in order to keep people away from transgressing. In this case, transgressing by not doing what they're supposed to do, like not saying Shema. So the rabbis wanted to make sure that you did it before morning light, especially because at nighttime people tend to get tired and they may fall asleep. Like the Rambam says, as far as when even though that the evening prayer is considered a reshut, is at least originally was optional, but you shouldn't, when you come home from work, you shouldn't say, I'm going to eat a little bit, and I'm going to drink a little bit, and I'm going to take a little nap, because then you're worried that the guy's going to fall asleep and he'll sleep all night and miss it. No, you should do it right away. And so that's what the Chachamim are saying here, that the mitzvah, any mitzvah that you have all night to do, you really have to do it until midnight, and don't think that you have all night. But if you missed it, you can do it until Amud Hashachar.